All right, so moving on to the next question, question C, part 1. What does the GDP per capita data suggest about the cost of living in Korea compared to that in USA in 1996? Justify your answer for 3 marks. So cost of living in Korea versus cost of living in USA, meaning is it more expensive to buy goods and services in Korea compared to buying goods and services in UK? How do we compare that? And they ask you to look at the GDP per capita data, which is this row number 3. But they provide us with 2 sets of information for GDP per capita. One is at the current exchange rate. The other version is in terms of PPP exchange rates. So if you are not familiar with this or have forgotten, well, it's a good chance for us to revise our content knowledge. So let's look at the 2 numbers first. So GDP per head for Korea in current exchange rate values will be 10,644. Note the unit of measurement is US dollars, 10,644. What it actually means, we'll get to that in a while. Then the PPP value for Korea's GDP per capita measured at PPP value in US dollars again is 13,580. Okay, what do these numbers mean? All right, so let's look at the GDP per head in market exchange rate for Korea first. At 10,644 US dollars, this is the amount of money Koreans on average had earned in 1996 in Korean won and converted to US dollars using the prevailing exchange rate between the US dollar and the Korean won in 1996. That means Koreans on average per person earn a certain amount of money in Korean won, right, in 1996. Convert that amount to US dollars based on the market exchange rate, that's an equivalent of 10644 USD, right? Do the Koreans actually have 10644 USD in possession? No, they don't. They are not holding US dollars, they are holding a certain amount of Korean won. Just that amount of Korean won, when converted to US dollar, at that point in time, would have given them 10644 had they chosen to perform that conversion, right? So that's what this number simply means. Now then, what is this thing called? PPP, GDP per head at PPP exchange rate. So this number, right, is actually taking the amount of Korean won, or GDP per capita measured in Korean won in 1996, converting to US dollar. Instead of using the market exchange rate, which will give us 10644, we are using what is called the PPP exchange rate, purchasing power parity exchange rate, and that gives us a different number, 13580. But what does this number mean? This number means that if the amount of Korean won that the Koreans had originally per person, right, per capita GDP in Korean won, if they use that amount of money to buy a basket of goods and services within Korea, then they end up with a basket of goods and services that they can enjoy in Korea. Now, if we were to ask an American in 1996 to say, go buy this exact same basket of goods and services in America, emphasize exactly same basket of goods and services, but except that you don't buy in Korea, American buy in America, right? How many US dollars would that cost? Well, this number, 13580 US dollar, it will be how much US dollars it would cost in America to buy that basket of goods and services that a Korean won equivalent of 10644 can buy in Korea. Now, what does this all mean then? That means the same basket of goods and services that cost an equivalent of 10644 USD in Korea now costs 13580 if we were to buy that in USA. Then the conclusion is clear. The same basket of goods and services is more expensive in America than in Korea. Hence, the cost of living in America must have been higher than the cost of living in Korea in 1996, right? In fact, if you want to calculate, this is roughly about 30% higher, right? $13,580 is about nearly $3,000 more than 10,644. That works up to be just shy of 30% more expensive in terms of goods and services, right? So this would be the way you answer the question that what does the data rather suggest to us about the cost of living in Korea in 96 compared to the cost of living in USA.